Hi, this is Joyce Pellino Crane. I'm the news director at WestfordCAT. I am here today with three representatives of the Roudenbush Community Center because the Roudenbush has its event of the year coming up on April 13th. The Roudenbush people, are honoring Nancy Cook. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you. Nice to be here, Joyce.
And with her is Donna Deschenes, Marketing Director for Roudenbush.
Yes, thank you.
And Lisa Cohen, who is a board member for Roudenbush.
Thank you.
And we're here today to talk a little bit about Nancy's life. But first, we're going to ask Donna and Lisa to tell us about the actual event that's taking place on April 13th, which is a Thursday night.
Yes, it's a Thursday night. It's going to be held at the Westford Regency Inn. And it's going to start about 6:30, and we're going to have a lot of great raffles and a silent auction. We'll have a really nice dinner by the Regency, and we'll have some music by Grace and Steve Yao as well.
That sounds wonderful. So Lisa, tell us a little bit about what's going to happen at the event. I see something about a balloon bust.
There will be a balloon bust. You will be able to purchase a balloon, and at the end of the night, we will ask the audience to pop the balloon, and you will have a chance to win a gift certificate or fitness passes or some prize.
That's great. And what else is happening at the event, Donna?
And then we have a wine pull. So everyone will get to buy a cork when they go in, if they choose to. And they will be $20, and there'll be about 50 bottles of wine. And they're all in brown paper bags. So at the end of the evening, you can go up and pick one of the bags, and you'll get a bottle of wine that's at least worth $15, worth 15 to 50.
Well, that sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
And there's an auction? Is there a silent auction and an auction?
Yes,
Okay.
both a silent and a live auction. The silent auction has lots of great gifts. There's weekends away, there's restaurant certificates, fitness classes, lots of nice gifts. The live auction, we have about 6 or 7 gifts for that, and we have our auctioneer, who is Gary Sommers from the
Roadshow.
Yes, the Antiques Roadshow
Antiques
on
Roadshow.
PBS, right? Yeah, so he's going to be great to have with us.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah,
I
it
love
should
the
be good.
show. So
Yes,
can we
yeah.
bring our
Antiques.
artifacts?
Yes, yeah. I don't know if he'll have time for that, but he would love to see it, I'm sure.
So Nancy, are you getting nervous about this event?
Very.
But why?
Donna keeps talking me off
I-
the wall.
You'll be fine. You'll do
Very.
just great.
I much prefer be behind the scenes to the front of the stage.
And yet there you are at the front of the stage.
No.
We'll be talking a little bit later just to you, but why don't you tell us, Donna, why, and Lisa, why it was Nancy? Why Nancy this year?
Nancy was chosen because we had a panel of people that we were choosing or looking at, and Nancy had just done so much with the town. She's been on so many committees. She volunteers endlessly, as everyone knows. She just gives everything. She gives everything she can for the community and for people and families that she knows. She was the perfect recipient for this award.
She is on the 9/11 Memorial Committee. In fact, I think she started it because I remember back then. She is on the Permanent Town Building Committee, and you are the chairman of the Council on Aging as well.
I am.
It's a busy schedule because she also has a full-time job, and it's not a simple job, I imagine.
Right.
Vice President of Concord Oil.
Yep,
Concord
Concord
Oil. So we'll get to all of that a little bit later, but I did want to clarify why it was Nancy this year.
Yeah. Great recipient.
And so the process you started telling us a little bit about the process of on how you choose the person of the year, but can you go into a little more detail?
We really choose people who care a great amount about other people, care about our community. We had a handful of candidates, but Nancy just seemed to be our best choice for this year.
The event itself, I will be there.
Great.
I will be there representing the Live for Live Foundation with Jody
Okay.
Marchand and
Excellent.
my fellow board members. So I do believe Jody's purchased a table, so I'll be there taking pictures.
She has.
Wonderful.
Great, yep.
Wonderful.
Good.
But so what else what would attract people who are just on the fence and they haven't yet signed up for it? What do you think would bring them? Is it the signed is it a baseball by David Ortiz?
Oh, yes, we have for our live auction items.
Yep.
We have tickets to the Red Sox game with a ball signed by David Ortiz. We have lots of actually sports paraphernalia
We
this
do.
year. We have a hockey puck signed by Bobby Orr, football by Doug Flutie,
Yep.
and lots of other live items. We have Weekend Away at the Red Jacket Inn at Cape Cod. And what else do we have, Lisa?
We also have brewer for the
Oh,
day
yes.
at Merrimack
Right.
Ales.
Yeah,
Right.
that sounds
Yes.
really fun.
No, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
And we have our local celebrity, Patty Mason's bread,
Oh,
which
yes.
she will cook you
Right.
for 6 months.
Yeah, so this is some special, magical, delicious
Wonderful
bread.
Yes,
It's
it is.
everything. It's Parker House rolls 1 month. It's white bread. It's sourdough bread. It's chocolate
bread.
bread. It's a different bread every month. It's phenomenal. The first time somebody said, my daughter bid on that bread, I said, bid on bread for real?
Yeah.
And it's a joke now because Patty just says, just give me a check. She
Right.
knows we have to bid. Melissa's addicted to it. It's
It's always
wonderful
a bidding
bread.
war.
It is
Yeah.
a bidding
Yeah,
war.
it is a
I
bidding
know.
war.
So can you buy it off of her, or does she only do
I
it
don't
for
think so.
events?
I think she only does it for
She's at
events,
about 8 or
yes.
10 loaves now that she has committed herself to, that every time she sits
Right.
down to make it, and she delivers it. She doesn't say, today's bread day, come get it at the senior center. You find it on your door in a bag
Oh, that's
with
nice.
instructions.
Right.
If you're not going to eat it today, put it in the freezer. This needs to be warm, or,
I wonder where she finds the time.
I know, it's
I know,
amazing.
She's
I know.
busy anyway.
She's on so many committees, and she'll come to the house to work on something we're working on and have to leave by
Yeah.
7:30 to go to her next
Yes.
meeting.
Yeah.
She never says
She
no.
does not
Whatever
stop.
we're doing, you can always count on Patty. She's great.
And she was last year's Person of the Year.
Yes.
She was.
Yeah,
All
pretty
of our-
amazing
all
to
of our-
follow
Well-deserved
her and
also.
Ellen.
All of our recipients can never say no, it seems like.
It's
I was at that event, and it was it was a lot of fun.
It was
so
fun.
I
Thank
do
you.
encourage people to go.
was fun.
So we're gonna is there anything else you want to share with us about the event itself?
Maybe just where to get tickets. You can
Okay,
get them at
tell us.
Roudenbush.org. You can come into 65 Main Street, and tickets are $65 and $55 for seniors. So
Sounds fantastic, and it's a full dinner.
it
Full
is. It's a
dinner,
full
yes.
dinner at the Regency. Yes.
It's
Yeah.
well worth it.
Yes.
I thought it was so much fun.
Good.
So I would,
Thank you.
Yeah, we had a
I'm
lot of
looking
fun.
forward to doing it again.
Great.
So I would like to thank you both, Lisa Cohen and Donna Deschenes, for coming.
Thank you.
And Nancy and I are going to spend a little while, just the two of us, talking.
Okay.
So we'll be back in a minute. And thank you, Donna. Thank you, Lisa,
Thank you,
for
Joyce.
coming.
Thanks, Joyce. Thank you.
And we're back with Nancy Cook. I'm Joyce Pellino Crane. Nancy, you're going to be Roudenbush's Person of the Year. And I invited you on the set today to tell us a little bit about your life. It's a very interesting, compelling story.
It's a little crazy.
Yeah. I wanted you to tell us about the early years of your first marriage when you lost your husband. You were how old?
I was 25. He died of mesothelioma. His father brought the asbestos home in his clothes, and it did end up killing the whole family, but he was sick for a little over a year.
What is mesothelioma?
It's cancer from asbestos. It's cancer of the lining of the lungs. It actually acts like a cement, and you can't breathe. It's a horrible, horrible illness. Horrible illness. But he worked at Hollingsworth. His father worked in West Groton at Hollingsworth and Vos, and they made lock cigarette filters, glass pack filters, which were filled with asbestos, and they brought it home in their clothes and wiped out a lot of families from West Groton and Shirley area, but
Oh, really?
it was pretty. There's been a couple of class action suits that I didn't get involved in, but it was horrible. It was truly. But my kids were babies. My youngest was 6 months old. He died on the 23rd of December. Michael had turned 4 on the 18th of December. I didn't hesitate, did I? And he, so it was a little crazy time, but with 3 babies, you just had to keep plugging.
So you had Michael, he was 4, and
I
then
had Tammy, who was 6, and Michael, who had just turned 4, and Melissa was 6 months old.
so you had an infant.
I did.
And how did you get through this? Who helped you?
Mickey Crocker. Mickey is my, I owe everything. She did her good prayers for me, and clothes and food, and kept me going. And you know, it was a tough time, but you just do what you have to do.
Where were you living at the time?
In Forge Village, God's country.
And that's where you grew up.
That's where I grew up. Yeah, it's a good place to be. The kids were babysat by a woman who was there when I was a little girl. So it was a good place to be. It was a tough time, but it was a good place to be.
I lived in Forge for 3 years. What street were you on?
We were on Pershing Street, same house I grew up in, which was wonderful.
Yeah.
People around the block where you could say to the kids, if Mommy doesn't come home, go to Vera's. I'll be there pretty soon. And Vera went to school with my dad. So it was a great place to grow up. Just walk through a door and they'd feed you. Good old place.
Wow.
It's nice to see another generation of babies on that street. It's a nice place. Forge Village, a great place to grow up.
It was a nice place to live. I loved living near the Forge Pond.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
I have a fondness for it. So you're left a widow with these 3 very young children, and Mickey's reaching out to you. And then what happens?
Shortly before my husband died, I went to work for Chet Cook, and we had been friends all my life, and he had lost his secretary and needed help.
And his business was Concord Oil?
It was Cook Oil at the time.
Cook
yep.
Oil.
Yep. And
Okay.
and I went to work for him, and a few years later we ended up together and still together 35 years later, which is pretty cool. He sold the business to Concord Oil in 1994 and sold me with it. So I'm still there today.
And you're an executive vice president?
I am
or-
an executive vice president, and ended up now with some of the shares back. So we back to owning part of the oil company, which is great. But it's challenging, but it's a nice job. It gives me the ability to my passion of volunteering and my suicide walk, which is the highlight. So.
We'll get to the suicide walk in a little while, but I wanted to, you were telling me a story before the cameras started rolling about Mickey telling you, when you would say to her, how can I ever repay you?
Oh, yeah.
She said to you, you will one
day. Yep.
And how did that, what happened?
She truly took care of me. She brought food to my house. She brought clothes for my kids, and I always would say, how will I ever repay you for what you do? And she said, one day I'll call in my favors. And Chet and I came home one night from dinner, and she was on the machine. Call me, it's due. I'm thinking, oh my, what could she possibly ask me for? I owe her my life. And she wanted me to join the Alumni Association, which we're both still on that board. We're 14 years later. And then a little bit later it was, how about the Council on Aging? And so we're still both on the Council on Aging. She just stepped down from the chair. She was on the beginning of the Council on Aging from when it was founded, that's pretty neat. She's the most active lady I know. Her heart and soul is Westford, or Forge Village anyway. But
Yeah, well, so I should just tell the folks at home that Mickey was, correct me if I'm wrong here, Nancy, but she was the former Veteran Service Officer for the town.
She was the town aide first. She was where you went for whatever you needed. I mean, it sounds silly, but the town aide is what she was called. She had Veteran Services was also what she did.
Okay.
She just took care of you. She had this gray metal cabinet in her office. It stood about the size of that, and it was filled with food and paper products and whatever else you could think of. And if you went in and said, I have nothing to feed tonight, she'd take food out of the cupboard and send you home in a bag with a bag full of food. Government cheese, butter, Mickey had it all. She was where you went for help. She had the connection with the church, with St. Catherine's Church. She still does. I think she runs it, but Don't tell Father David. She was able to get you help through the food pantry at the church. She just could pull it together for anyone. Funny story, a couple of years ago, she's been retired, I don't know, I won't say how old, she's probably been retired 20 years from her full-time job, and a man called her one night. He was cold, he didn't have any oil in his tank, he didn't have any money, and she said, "Why are you calling me?" He said, "I didn't know who else to call." So she hung up and called me, and we delivered her. His wife died that night. I mean,
His wife died that night.
he didn't want her to be cold, and he didn't know who else to call.
Was this a Westford resident?
It was.
Oh
yeah.
my God, that takes
Yeah,
my
it's
breath
pretty.
away.
And if you called her today and said, "I need help," she would get on the phone and call the people to take care of whatever needed to be done. Great part of being in Westford, there's always someone like Mickey.
Wow. Well, God bless her for
God
helping
bless her.
that man and his wife.
That's her. She's a great lady.
And I hope residents know they can reach out. They can reach out to me. They can reach out to
Certainly
you.
can.
They can reach out to.
There's a lot of play. The Cameron Senior Center, even though it is the senior center, we do amazing things there. There's a phenomenal food pantry, and we've joined hands with St. Vincent de Paul now.
I was just going to mention them.
And it's so wonderful. Instead of being open a couple of days a week or a couple afternoons a week, they're open nights, they're open weekends, they're open whenever you need to go for help. We have everything you can possibly need there. It's great. It's a wonderful service.
Right. Not every town has a St. Vincent de Paul, arm of the national organization.
That's
I think
true.
it's an international organization. So this is really amazing what's happening here in Westford, and it's very under the surface.
It certainly is. If you know somebody that needs help, whether it be an electric bill or a rent bill or any of that, we have help available if you just reach out. And you can always start at the senior center and ask for Alison or Annette, and they'll always take care of you.
Yes, those are two staff members, Annette Cerullo, and I've forgotten Alison's last name, but she's the social worker for the town, and very helpful and wonderful. I've done stories with her. And actually, we did a series of stories on poverty in the suburbs, and Alison was very instrumental in that story.
When Mickey retired, there was a call to town hall. Actually, I said, from the oil company, "Where do I send people who need help now?" And the woman who answered the phone laughed, and she said, "That's a fallacy. There aren't people in Westford that need help. She was just making a job." And I said, how little she knew that there's so many people that in our town that need help, all kinds of help. So it's nice that it's there.
Right. It's 3% according to the U.S. Census Bureau, but 3% of 22,000 is still hundreds of people who need help.
On some level.
Yes. But this is really more about, I know we've strayed, it's supposed to be about you and what you've done for the community. And did we mention that you're on, yes, the 9/11 committee. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about the sculptures that you've supported around town by David Christiana.
David is amazing. David is, Patty Mason, actually, another wonderful person. Patty submitted for a piece of angle iron, a piece of the Twin Towers.
I remember that.
And it came, and it was delivered to my house, and it was there for a while. And finally, Patty and my husband decided what it should look like. So I sent it out to our committee at the time, which David wasn't on, but he was working with Dave DeVincentis.
Yes.
And he, David, I'm sorry, Devo. David sent it to David and said, "Look at this and tell me what you think." Well, my phone started blowing up. It was like, no, he wants to change. He's just an amazing talent. And what Patty and Chet had envisioned just blew into this beautiful statue that we have up there. That monument is phenomenal.
Which is in the plaza in between the Public Safety Center and Town Hall.
And every bit of it has a meaning. It's the green glass is for the field in Pennsylvania, and it's phenomenal. He has such imagination and is able to pull it all together. He's such fun to work with. Crazy but fun.
Very creative, very talented artist. And then the bricks on the ground were all donated.
They were. They were all pavers that you were able to buy for and those were great. The pavers with the names on them for the fire and police were all purchased by the fire and by somebody for each one of those. Ideal Block donated the pavers for the star in the middle. I don't want to miss anybody. Garside Granite, Al and JT just did amazing work on that. But none of it would have happened without David in his vision. He just, it's like the night on Depot.
The Westford night
He's,
on Depot Street.
my husband kept saying, people are going to think there's something dead laying on the side of the road covered up with that blue blanket that was there for about a week before the unveiling. But it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And what he's working on now is so amazing.
And that's the Minuteman?
The Minuteman, and he's using Dan LaCroix as a full-size
Yes.
replica.
Yes, Dan LaCroix, who does reenactment dressing up
Right.
from the Revolutionary War.
He's our model for Colonel John Robinson. So
Right.
it should be perfect. Everything he does is. So it's fun to support him and try and
When will that be done?
probably June of 2018. He's busily working on it. The granite posts are going to go up soon as the ground is ready to put it up, and they're going to repair and restore Colonel John Robinson's grave, which is a little neglected over there. But the whole cemetery is going to get a facelift. I think Pat Savage is helping along with that, so that's nice.
And I should mention that Dan LaCroix is a member of the Historical
He is.
Society.
He is.
How much of this is really personal, but I've heard you write checks. People come and ask for help, and you're there with a checkbook.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And I think that's probably why you're Person of the Year, partly why. But you're also, I want to make sure we get this in, you're also very, very committed to to suicide awareness. So tell us a little bit about that.
8 years ago in May, a friend of ours, Billy Duggan, who was a police officer in Westford, a dispatcher when he died, took his own life by suicide. And another Westford boy, Dennis Harron, who had grown up, was a Westford police officer, said, we have to do something. People have to know there's help. It has to be horrible to feel as alone and down and just devastated as people have to before they commit suicide, to think that death is the only answer. When we started walking, people didn't talk about it. They whispered or didn't admit to suicide.
I think that's still the case.
I will tell you, though, the first year we walked, we had 3 faces on our shirt, and the 3 cousins, Keith Crockett, Keith Lally, and Billy Duggan, and we have 24 faces on our shirts now, 8 years later. They're all tied together, either by friendship or by relationship. Every day somebody will say, do you know where I can call for family services? Do you know where I can call to do a hotline? I need a hotline. Can you give me a telephone number? We have them on our desks. We all carry them in our phones. Now, people do approach us because we're so out there to speak about it. It's amazing what AFSP does,
And AFSP.
is American Federation of Suicide Awareness.
And where do you do the walk?
Every year it's somewhere different.
So
We
this
pay.
year?
This year it's in DC. It's we walk 18 miles and we walk from sunset to sunup, and it's amazing. You walk into at just sunrise to thousands of votive bags that are all there representing somebody who's taken their own life, and it's so overwhelming to see and to think that if you could just reach out to one, and one person didn't have to feel the pain, or one family didn't have to feel the survivor guilt that is horrendous. Multiple families have had multiple losses due to survivor guilt. It's horrible. So we work really hard. I'm super proud of our team. We've raised almost $250,000, just our team, in 8 years. So
It's remarkable, and most of it is all on Facebook.
yeah, we are neurotically, I know people get sick and say, oh, I hope the walk is over soon. We do a fundraiser, Cinco, for our 3rd year. I think it's our 3rd year. It's April 29th this year. We do a ton of raffles and Last year we raised $12,000, which is good. You have to raise $1,000 to walk, but we all average more than that, which is
And
great.
how big is your team?
This year there's 11 of us.
And are they all from Westford?
There's a couple that are from Lowell. One of them is a Westford police officer, Scott Hyder. He lives in Lowell, but most are all from Westford. Most all have connection.
So what's the date of that?
The walk is June 17th, and if anybody wants to make a donation, we'd make your check. It's 100% tax deductible to AFSP, and we'd be glad to take it.
Okay, so we'll let people know how to do that with the slide.
Perfect.
So you mentioned three, before we end this, I just wanted to clarify, you mentioned 3 names from Westford that you had the faces on your T-shirts, and were these all?
Mickey's son is Keith Crocker. Mickey's nephew is Keith Lally, who I babysat for when he was a little boy, and Billy Duggan, all Westford boys. No, they were all grown.
Yeah.
They were
Adult
they were
men
cousins.
and all cousins.
Cousins. Very sad.
Yeah. Well, the work you do is so important, and it sounds to me like I don't know where you have a moment to breathe, because you're also a justice of the
I am.
peace,
And
right?
that's fun. That's fun. I do 10 or 12 weddings a year. Just mostly friends now and word of mouth.
Do you travel to the weddings?
I do a few at my house.
Uh-huh.
I travel to Maine, New Hampshire, and Lawton, Mass. Yeah,
And I have to ask you this: you were the former town clerk.
I was for just for 3 years. It
That's
was
a huge job.
it was fun. You know what? You miss the people, but the job was crazy. Kari, God bless her. It's a lot of work and so much more now than it was. But it's a people person job, and
Yeah.
I love people.
Yeah.
I'm so honored to have this award that my friend Davis Hooper was one of the 3 ladies that started the Roudenbush with Ellen and Mickey, actually.
Yes.
And so it's truly an honor to be part of that.
So what do you think? So what are you wearing for that night?
Oh, if I tell you, my daughter might hear this. Is it going to be aired before?
Yes.
I'm going to wear the green dress.
And is this Tammy who doesn't
No,
approve?
it's Melissa.
Oh, Melissa.
She is my clothing guru.
Well, on that note, Nancy, I'm going to say thank you so very much
Thank
for
you for
coming
having me.
today and for sharing a little bit of your life with us, because you don't know who you touch and who you influence and affect and who will model themselves after you. Sometimes that just, there's lots of people out there that will say, well, Nancy did it, I'll do it too. So it's all good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. For WestfordCAT, this is Joyce Pellino Crane. Have a great day, and I'll see you around town.